In a courtroom filled with tension, sorrow, and disbelief, Jake Haro, the father of missing 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro, was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison after pleading guilty to his child's murder. The sentence also included more than 6 years in prison for other offenses, set to run consecutively, and over $20,000 in fines and court fees. The gravity of the sentencing left many in the courtroom, including members of the family, grappling with a mixture of relief, sorrow, and lingering questions about what truly happened to baby Emmanuel. The sentencing on Monday marked the culmination of a case that has left the local community in shock and mourning. The court heard that Jake Haro was ineligible for probation, a consequence of his prior conviction for severely abusing another child. The judge made it clear that leniency was not an option, given the pattern of abuse and the tragic outcome of Emmanuel's life. Before the judge delivered the sentence, the defense had argued against imposing court fees and fines, pointing out that Jake Haro was indigent and represented by a public defender. The prosecutor, however, countered sharply, stating, "The defendant deserves no leniency." In the eyes of the prosecution, the crimes were too severe, the consequences too irreversible, to consider any measure short of maximum punishment. The case had taken a dramatic turn the previous month, when 32-year-old Jake Haro pleaded guilty to all charges, including second-degree murder, assault causing bodily harm to a child resulting in death, and filing a false police report. The plea came after months of legal maneuvering. Initially, both Jake and his wife, Rebecca Haro, had pleaded not guilty in September. The courtroom bore witness to the father's raw emotion as he broke down during his plea on October 16th, a moment that underscored the human weight behind the legal proceedings. Meanwhile, Emmanuel's mother, 41-year-old Rebecca Haro, entered her plea of not guilty to an amended complaint in October. At the time of the sentencing, the preliminary hearing for her case was scheduled for the following Monday, leaving many questions about her involvement and the specifics of the complaint unanswered. During the sentencing, the maternal grandmother, Mary Beushausen, delivered a harrowing account of the impact the tragedy had wrought on the family. Her voice trembled, filled with anger and grief as she told the court, "He destroyed my family. Everybody in my family, all my children are destroyed by this. He changed my daughter. We don't know who she is. He kept my daughter away. I don't know what he did or how he changed my daughter's life, but she was never that same person after she went to live with him." Her plea for a lengthy sentence was unwavering. "I don't want to give him another chance." The words hung in the courtroom, a testament to the irreparable damage caused by a man entrusted with a child's life. Details of Emmanuel's disappearance are chilling. The 7-month-old was reported missing on August 14th, around 7:47 p.m., after his mother reported being attacked outside a retail store on Ukaipa Boulevard. According to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office, Rebecca Haro told authorities she had been physically assaulted by an unknown male while changing her child's diaper, leaving her unconscious. Authorities noted inconsistencies in the mother's initial statement, which prompted officials to consider foul play in Emmanuel's disappearance. On August 22nd, both Jake and Rebecca Haro were arrested and charged with their child's murder. In the days following, officials believed they had a strong indication of the location of the child's remains, suspecting that Emmanuel had been severely abused over a period of time. Jake Haro's actions during the investigation only deepened the chilling narrative. He was observed searching a field near the 60 freeway in Moreno Valley, walking with law enforcement officials in what appeared to be a desperate attempt to locate Emmanuel. No remains were found, leaving questions about the final moments of the child's life unanswered. Riverside County District Attorney Michael Hestrin described Jake Haro as an experienced child abuser, referencing a previous case in 2018 where he had severely abused another child with his ex-wife. That child, he noted, had been left bedridden. Hestrin expressed frustration that Jake Haro had received probation instead of prison time in that case, calling it an outrageous error in judgment. If that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today, Hestrin said during an August press conference, highlighting the tragic consequences of leniency in cases of child abuse. The court records revealed the extensive nature of the charges against Jake Haro: second-degree murder, assault causing bodily harm resulting in death, and filing a false police report paint a harrowing picture of a child's life cut short by abuse. The legal system's response, culminating in a 25-year-to-life sentence, underscores the severity of the crimes, the pattern of abuse, and the need for accountability. Throughout the trial and sentencing, the human cost of the tragedy was made painfully clear. Mary Beushausen's testimony offered a glimpse into the profound impact on Emmanuel's family, particularly his mother. Her life, once seemingly ordinary, had been irrevocably altered. The grandmother's words painted a portrait of a young woman traumatized and changed by her partner's actions. "He kept my daughter away. She was never that same person after she went to live with him." The sentencing also included over $20,000 in fines and court fees, a decision that sparked objection from the defense. They argued that Jake Haro, being indigent and represented by a public defender, should not bear additional financial penalties. However, the judge maintained that the severity of the crime warranted the full scope of the sentence. The impact of Emmanuel's disappearance reverberated beyond the courtroom. Authorities indicated that the baby had been abused over time, and that the physical injuries inflicted ultimately led to his death. The case serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by children and the devastating consequences of failing to protect them. In the wake of the sentencing, questions remain. Officials have not announced whether Emmanuel's remains have been located, leaving the family and community grappling with uncertainty and grief. The case also raises difficult questions about the justice system, probation, and the ability to identify and prevent repeat child abuse before tragedy strikes. Jake Haro's actions, and the court's response, illuminate the stark reality of child abuse cases. District Attorney Hestrin emphasized the missed opportunities to prevent the death of Emmanuel Haro, noting that prior convictions should have resulted in more stringent monitoring and intervention. The legal and moral weight of these decisions reverberates through every aspect of the case. The courtroom proceedings, the emotional testimonies, and the chilling details of Emmanuel's final days form a narrative that is as tragic as it is cautionary. As the legal process continues for Rebecca Haro, the public watches closely, hoping for further accountability and answers. Mary Beushausen's testimony, particularly, captures the heartbreak and frustration of a family shattered by violence. "Everybody in my family, all my children are destroyed by this. He changed my daughter. I don't want to give him another chance." Her words echo in the minds of anyone following the case, a reminder of the lasting impact of child abuse on victims and their families. The case of Emmanuel Haro also underscores systemic concerns. How could a previously convicted child abuser like Jake Haro remain free, ultimately placing another child in danger? District Attorney Hestrin did not shy away from this question, pointing to the probation granted in 2018 as a critical misstep that may have contributed directly to Emmanuel's death. Throughout the investigation, authorities worked tirelessly to piece together the chain of events. From the initial report of assault by Rebecca Haro, to the arrests of both parents, to the public statements regarding the child's abuse and likely location, the case revealed a harrowing sequence of negligence, cruelty, and heartbreak. Jake Haro's search for Emmanuel in Moreno Valley, though unsuccessful, highlighted a desperate attempt to either locate the child or portray compliance to law enforcement, an act that would ultimately do little to mitigate the consequences of his actions. As the legal proceedings conclude for Jake Haro, attention now turns to Rebecca Haro. Her plea of not guilty and the scheduled preliminary hearing raise questions about her role and the extent of her knowledge or involvement in the abuse. The family, the community, and the authorities await clarity on this matter, knowing that the full story of Emmanuel's life and death is still being uncovered. In conclusion, the sentencing of Jake Haro serves as a somber milestone in the tragic story of baby Emmanuel Haro. A life cut short, a family irreparably harmed, and a community left to grapple with grief and unanswered questions all mark the devastating impact of child abuse. The court's decision reflects not only the severity of the crimes committed but also a broader call for vigilance, accountability, and systemic change to protect the most vulnerable among us. The tragedy of Emmanuel Haro is a reminder that child abuse is not a theoretical concern but a real, immediate danger with consequences that ripple far beyond the individual. As the story continues to unfold with Rebecca Haro's ongoing legal proceedings, the hope remains that justice, however delayed or partial, will ultimately honor the memory of a life so tragically lost.